I got a lot to talk about today before I get started here on normal stuff. I guess you consider it normal, I suppose. Um, First of all, it's been a lovely morning. Um, Uncle Luke, some of y'all might know Uncle Luke, some of y'all might not know Uncle Luke. But I used to sneak and listen to Uncle Luke as a kid. Me so, me so, and pop that, baby. Congratulations. He started his podcast 11 days ago. He also has a delicious interview with Madam Vice President from 4 years ago on his channel. And of course, I have encouraged him by leaving him some love in his comments. He had a few haters on his comments, so if people are not liking your work or they are leaving negative messages or they're telling you they're not for your political views, they are entitled to their opinions, but that is just it. You really can't change anybody's, first of all, you can't change history. And if that's how they wanted to live out their birthright versus whatever it is you chose to do, you can't throw shade at anybody. You can, won't do you any good. He's already getting his paycheck, already got his publicity and everything else. But you should not be judgmental for the type of life that they decided they wanted to pursue versus the possible different lifestyle that they could have been in. Could have been a whole lot of things. Could have been gangbanging. Could have got stopped in, especially African American men. Could have been in the, or women. Could have been in the street minding their business, got shot. Could have been in their home. Sonia Macy's a case of that. Nice Christian lady. So if it had to come between trying to make ends meet in the streets versus I'm gonna use my gifts and my talents and make me a bag, I'm all for them making the bag. Just like that. It's hump day. Happy hump day. If you haven't visited his page, make sure you check out the interview with Kamala from 4 years ago. Check out his podcast and then reminisce on his music. And he said he's going to treat his podcast like he did when he had the mic. The group he was in at the time is called Two Live Crew. And let's see. Uncle Luke is also famous for a gathering used to happen in the ATL called Freaknik. Now, I was not of age at that time, so that was not something I could be partaking in. And of course, by the time I got grown, Freaknik was no longer around, but we shouldn't be surprised because that's what happens to most of the, I would assume because of the nature. They wasn't really trying to have that around a long time. Anyway, when they seen a lot of people were in it and going to it and spending their money on it and having a great time. Can't have any of that now, can we? Okay, now, other things, if you are an author, I talked to Taya Bell. She was congratulating me on a few things. I was talking about life insurance versus life assurance. So, well, I can handle both of those. I'm skilled in both of those. If I got to explain something to somebody. And so I've started printing off there's 6 chapters for this course I've got to take. So I printed off chapter 1 and chapter 2 for life insurance. And so I've got 3 to 6 I need to print off. Not only did I print them off, I felt that I value my time. I felt they could be a bit more condensed. So I've already summarized those 2 chapters, and I plan on summarizing 3, 4, 5, and 6 as well. That way I can hurry up and get through things. I'll probably still listen to, as far as the videos, because the website I'm using, ExamFX, it kicks you out after 1 minute, and you got to take the time to log back in. So, and I like to listen to things on repeat, especially when I'm sleeping, to help it get into my subconscious. So I will more than likely read my condensed notes, do a video, and just listen to that video on repeat while I sleep. Now, Taya Bell, I asked her if she had a YouTube. She hadn't been on her YouTube in a minute. I went and I found a video about making your 6-figure empire, and I have already posted it for you all to listen to it. I wasn't even 15 minutes in, and the knowledge bombs dropped, baby. If you are an author, you want to listen to that video, okay? And it's where Valerie Love is interviewing her. Let's see. Now, for the past few days, I'm gonna be real honest, I don't really listen to Dr. Umar, U-M-A-R. He is a Pan-African, but he was talking about politics and the nationality of Kamala. And then a few days ago, I guess he said it was in a news story that they offered money to talk to him and he would talk to them for free. And I went on his post, and I don't really give a damn what race she is, but I do know, because it's just an avatar. And so I do know, and we all come from being Homo sapiens was the originators, and Homo sapiens came out of Africa and branched off, which means we are all brothers and sisters anyway, despite whatever race you are. So I put on the video, I would like you to discuss, and this is before I heard about the news a few days ago that they were trying to pay him to do an interview. I want to hear him talk about not her race, but what Project 2025 entails. What does that mean? Not just for Black people, but for humanity as a whole in regards to its freedom. So when I went and I listened to the video, I listened to some of it because he did a lot of ranting and raving in bed. Well, a few of his videos started popping up on my timeline. Some things I agree with, some things I do not. So things that stuck out to me most, I made sure to go ahead and clip. Let's talk about it. He has a school that he's starting up or getting together, or I like the idea of the school and the curriculum. Let's start with GoFundMe. On a few of these platforms, GoFundMe has not been working out in regards to African Americans. There was a homeless situation, and the girl was raising like $400,000. She had raised like $400,000. She had spent money out of pocket. She had been helping him with lodging and things of that nature. She spent money on him. She started to go fund for him when he asked her for a cup of tea, and they were asking for certain things in order to access the $400,000, and I guess he didn't have what was needed to be able to access it. Let me see if I can turn it up a bit. I got it a little low right now. But we're going to start with the school curriculum.
Funding with all the account statements and gave them permission to speak to the branch manager to verify the information. GoFundMe didn't even check it out because they wanted to shut it down. They didn't want to support a black initiative. So then we learned in 2017, I want to say, 16, that a Chinese corporation bought the St. Paul's College. I couldn't believe that.
In the process of you doing it.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that black people let Chinese people buy a historically black college, built by our ancestors, coming out of slavery. Our father Russell, who was friends to both Booker T. Washington and George Washington, adopted GoFundMe, even though I supplied GoFundMe with all the account statements and gave them permission to speak to the branch manager to verify the information. GoFundMe didn't even check it out because they wanted to shut me down. They didn't want to support a black initiative. So then we learned in 2017, I want to say, 16, that a Chinese corporation bought the St. Paul's College. I couldn't believe that.
Okay, so this is why we need our own platforms. Not just for GoFundMe, but for social media sites as well. Yeah, I sent a list over to someone this AM in regards to social media sites to be careful on when it comes to you being a content creator on the page, not only on the page, but when you are messaging people through their inbox as well, which is one of the reasons I have adult websites. They're created for certain things, plus they keep the analyticals on my page information. Okay. So yeah. Now he talked about, let's see here. Us owning schools, banks, houses, and worldwide shipping. It was with Daily Wrap Up Crew. He did talk about protecting the lives of children. I'm down with that, of course. The 13th Amendment, us being complacent in and our oppression with cell phones, social media, NBA off playoffs, things of that nature. Um, he broke down how much is being spent on things like Air Jordans, liquor, hair and beauty, chicken, things of that nature, where we're directing most of our money to. Churches, 3 billion, I think he said 3 million is given. The church brings in about 3 million a year, I believe is what he said. Let's see. I did not know that in order to purchase or lease a Catholic church, you have to contact the Vatican in Rome. I call that pizza. Um, it's how I think of the Vatican churches in Rome. They like to order pizza. Talked about the Haitian Revolution, um, how they wanted to forever prevent the march of blacks going forward into the world. And I put here we should own all of these. So let me push play.
The 2 billion on the Air Jordans, the multiple billion we spend on vacations, all the money we spend on these damn non-black women, we can take that money and build black schools for black boys all over clubs. But I want to know, we can't. I mean, I don't want to say we can't change that, but that's we're surrounded by it. It's like every block has a liquor store, every block has sneakers. That don't mean you have to partake. No, I agree with that 100%. Where is the discipline? It's so hard for the people that don't know better. Discipline. Okay, we do know better. We do. Even the most politically uneducated black person knows there's something better I could be doing with this money. Do you feel me? I agree. We are comfortable in our oppression. And the reason we're comfortable in it is the white man has allowed us enough of his useless amusements to content us with our oppression. We got the cell phone, social media, NBA playoffs. We have enough. The 2 billion on the end.
Okay, let's talk about this school. I think this school he's got is the most delicious sounding school I have ever heard of in my life.
Science, language, and social studies, that's required, right? And then on top of that, we're going to have agricultural and agronomical science, dietary, nutritional science. We're about to buy some farmland right now. We're also going to have political and military science. We'll be teaching African martial arts, weapons training too. There will also be spiritual and astrological science. I practice Yoruba spirituality. We will teach it. The school will be a bona fide independent parochial academy. We must have a religious instruction and spiritual instruction. There will also be a dietary, nutritional, agricultural, and astrological, military and political, science of the black man, woman, and child. Right? So we're going to teach the boys how to be men, how to be gentlemen, also how to be men, how to be fathers, how to be leaders in the community. And then financial and economics, investment, science, language, and social studies, that's required. Right? And then on top of that, we're going to have agricultural and agronomical science, dietary, nutritional science. We're about to buy some farmland right now. We're also going to have political and military science. We'll be teaching African martial arts, weapons training too. There will also...
Okay. Well, it's been erased, but that's okay because I keep a copy of everything that I post up on the net. Let me just go to my email. He named some things, and he did say all boys school for the first few years. STEM and science, agriculture, astronomical science, science general, nutrition, financial economics, stocks, bonds. He talked real estate. He talked about that. I put insurance, wills, etc. Environmental sustainability, personal development and wellness, dietary, martial arts, gentlemen, fathers, etiquette, leadership, and character development, Yoruba spirituality, culture, and spiritual growth. I think we should teach on all of the African religions, not in depth, but in addition to Yoruba, other practices that happened before what we call colonization. Hmm. Practical skills. Weapon training, self defense and safety, business plan, grant writing, funding, and research. Plus, he said gifting them with their first grant. I think that's awesome. Digital literacy, technology and online skills, social studies, social sciences and humanities, military history, strategy and leadership, political civil engagement, governance and activism. Um, I'm sorry, I'm gonna go back to personal development and wellness, mental health, wellness, and self care. Back to social sciences and humanities, astrological cosmology, and spiritual exploration, science of Black man, woman, and child, cultural studies and empowerment, community development, social impact and engagement, creative arts, creative writing, expression and storytelling, visual arts, painting, drawing, and design, music, and these are suggestions I made, music and performance, creative expression, and talent development. Workshops and guest lectures, conflict resolution, mediation and negotiation, entrepreneurship and innovation, business and idea generation, study skills and academic success, productivity and goal setting. If you're going to, and I think for the students that write a book, they should write one of their experience in school or of their childhood, and then also as an alumni of the school, uh, write a book once they have gotten out into the work field and in their entrepreneurship and write about what they did with their grant money and how it helped and talk about their business and their business experience or work experience. Especially since he said immigrants pretty much uh, are working the jobs we used to have, and we would be mainly into entrepreneurship in the future. Okay. That was a very long video. It was well, it wasn't too bad. 1 hour and 5 minutes and 34 seconds. Let's talk about the one he did with Hardly Initiated. They talked about coitus, I guess would be the polite word for it, in the Black culture. And I took a few clips. We're going to go through those few clips real quick, and then I will share my thoughts.
Bag it out just in case she got some skeletons that need to pop out. Right. But after 2 years, a man knows. So when I talk to women who say, yeah, I've been living with my baby daddy for 5 years, he said he's still not sure. He's sure. He just don't want to tell you because he don't want to let you go free because he know how good of a woman you are and he don't want nobody else to experience that. A man knows 2 years is my limit. But the reason you got to live together is what I said earlier. We know how to be the best actor Hollywood ever created where we don't have to share space. If all I'm doing is pick you up, going to dinner, going to the movies, going to the Hawks game, going to the Falcons game, going to vacation to Bermuda, we have a pleasure contract. We about to turn this into an official relationship. Well, guess what? I got things about me I don't really want you to know. But guess what? Now you live with her. You under the same roof. Now, mind you, y'all been dating for 5 years. It's been great. You just for 1 week. Guess what you found out in 1 week? You found out she don't like to wash her ass. Bag it out just in case she got some skeletons that need to pop out. Right. But after 2 years, a man knows. So when I talk to women who say, yeah, I've been living with my baby daddy for 5 years, he said he's still not sure. He's sure. He just don't want to tell you because he don't want to. $3 million a Sunday and no institutions, that's highway robbery. If you really care about doing the Lord so comfortable with your people living in hell. That's interesting because I think that's a lot of pressure to put on the Black church. And I only put it on churches who have a net income of $250,000 a year. If you're bringing in less than $250,000 a year, I will accept you doing some good for the community, but I'm not expecting you to build a bank, a school, a hospital, or a supermarket. But if you net $250,000, and if you're a mega church, Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, if you're a mega church and you ain't got no institutions for the Black community, come on, man, it's an export. So what's the ideal? Give me the ideal picture that you would like to see. Even let's say a mega church. I would like the mega church to have a Black Wall Street. And what I mean by that is those 4 institutions, a clinic for the people. $3 million a Sunday.
Actually.
And no institutions, that's highway robbery. And if you really care about doing the Lord's work, why are you so comfortable with your people living in hell? That's interesting because I think that's a lot of pressure to put on the Black church. And I only put it on churches who have a net income of $250,000 a year. If you're bringing in less than $250,000 a year, I will accept you doing some good for the community, but I'm not expecting you to go to the bank, a school, a hospital, or a supermarket. But if you net $250,000, and if you're a mega church, Creflo Dollar, TD Jakes, if you're a mega church and you ain't got no institutions for the Black community, come on, man, export it. So what's the ideal? Give me the ideal picture that you would like to see. Even let's say a mega church. I would like the mega church to have a Black Wall Street. And what I mean by that is those 4 institutions. A clinic for the people, whether they're Christian or not, they Black. A school for the children, whether they're Christian or not, they Black. A supermarket to feed our people fresh food coming from the Black farmers. Okay? And also a bank to invest in our people so we can get this entrepreneurial spirit up. Because there's no jobs left in America. We have to help Black people create jobs for themselves. We have to become, Black America's going to have to go full-time entrepreneur. Wow. No more jobs. They're giving everything to the migrants. The migrants are in America to replace the Africans. This is the purge. Absolutely. Do they have a role and a hand in the outcome of where we are as far?
Speaking of banks, there is a movie called The Banker, and it has Anthony Mackie and Samuel L. Jackson. They were fighting for housing integration and equal access to the American dream. Also has Nicholas Holt and Nia Long co-starring. You probably have never heard of this movie. Movie looks awesome. I would love to see it. From 2020, 2 hours long. It's only available on Apple TV. It's inspired by true events. Let's get back to these clips.
She has more income and education than the man, so they're looking at this financially. They also
We're talking about ladies in the church.
have a vested interest in her never getting married. Whoa. The pastor is the metaphorical husband of all the single women in the community. I'm not saying he's sleeping with them. I'm saying he's keeping them so distracted with Jesus that they never find a husband, and that's the way he wants it to stay. Because if she finds a husband, she won't have as much time to be donating to the church all the time. Wow. So the black church benefits from single motherhood. They don't want our sisters married because their pockets would go down. Is this all church or just the black church? Well, there's always exceptions. But I don't care about the white church because that. I'm not thinking about that. Us. I'm talking about us. It's not every church with exceptions to every rule. I know good black pastors. I know good black churches. I speak in black churches all the time. But exceptions don't negate the rule. She has more income and education than the man, so they're looking at this financially. They also have a vested interest in her never getting married. Whoa. The pastor is the metaphor. Demanding they be of the same religious doctrine? That's insane. If a sister is going to say, my husband got to be a Jehovah's Witness like me, you only had about 2 or 3 men you can marry anyway. Now you ain't got one. So I just think black women need to rethink 2 things. 2 things. Number 1, this idea that I should not get married until I finish all my college studies. Oh, that's a big one. Getting married after they done college is the reason why a lot of our sisters are not getting married and are not having babies. Because they're putting off the marriage. Because, good Christian girl, my daddy and mommy put me through college. I'm going to finish law school first. I'm going to finish med school first. I'm going to get my master. I'm going to get my social work. I'm going to get my license. Then I'm going to look for a husband. Only problem is, sweetheart, you're not going to be done all this till you're about 35. Now you're freezing eggs. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Your biological clock is ticking, which is going to often lead to you presenting yourself to available men as somewhat demanding they be of the same religious doctrine. That's insane. If a sister is going to say, my husband got it,
I watch a lot of dating shows, and yes, the sisters will say up front, I need him to be such and such religion. And then you get to hear the balloon pump. And you know what's crazy? You can throw apples, stones, whatever you want to at me later, but all religious doctrine is made up by man. You gonna let something that man made up divide you? From possibly getting your, if you desire marriage, your significant other. It's all made up. Every single last one. And there's a lot of them. All man-made. All man-made and concocted. Let's keep going. Can you have your preferences? Sure you can. They're still made up delusions. Let's see. Now he talked about family versus career.
School first. I'm gonna get my master. I'm gonna get my social work. I'm gonna get my license. Then I'm gonna look for a husband. Only problem is, sweetheart, you're not gonna be done on this till you're about 35. Now you freezing eggs. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Your biological clock is ticking, which is going to often lead to you presenting yourself to available men as somewhat thirsty, because you're not going to be able to hide the fact you know you're aware of your clock ticking, which is going to end up leading to you possibly never getting married. Black women have to stop putting on family for career because they don't have as many options as their counterparts, the whites, the reds, the yellows, and the browns. There's one thing Black women need to rethink: putting it off until completion of college. Number two, looking for a man.
Excuse me.
That's another mistake. You're narrowing it down too much. You mean, listen, I'm a Pan-African, so we believe in religious freedom, right? I don't care if my wife is a Rasta, Hebrew, but it don't matter to me as long as you are with me. Okay? School first. I'm gonna get my master. I'm gonna get my social work. I'm gonna get my license. And I'm gonna look for a husband. Only problem is, sweetheart, you're not going to be done on this till you're about 35. Now you freezing eggs. You see what I'm saying? Exactly. Your biological clock is ticking, which is going to often lead. We got over 630 votes. It's going 700. 61% of people say no. No what? They are not willing to marry outside of their religion. I'm not sure they're being good, to be honest. I'm gonna tell you why. I've seen sisters who say they wouldn't date outside the religion. And when they were propositioned by a brother who wasn't of the religion or had no religion, you think they said no? It was that too. You think they said no? That's cap. That's cap. That's cap. 100%. That's cap. It's cap. There's a lot of sex going on, and there's a lot of people that's just not religious at all. So I would consider not religious outside of your religion. Absolutely. No, 100%. Over 700 votes too, by the way. They gotta have God in their life, but dictating a person's doctrine as a condition for marriage, for me, is short-minded, short-sighted, especially for where we are as sisters. Wow. We got over 630 votes. It's going, 700.
I feel like people who don't date certain people because of how they dress, or they say they're too short and things of that nature. I think that's very, it's very superficial. Let's see. He talked about how he would talk to his daughter if the daughter came to him and said her husband had been cheating.
From the throne and put another woman on the throne, and now you number two, where you was always number one, you got to leave. There's no greater disrespect a man pays to his woman than to put another woman in her place. When a man replaces a woman, she needs to leave, because that is a sign that you are no longer what you were to him. And if you hang around too long, you will see your rank drop again and again and again till you don't even matter no more. Yeah, you're in trouble at that point. So you better leave when you ain't number one no more. But if you still number one and you know you number one, have a conversation, princess. But I don't think you kick him to the curb for this oops.
First of all, I love the analogy of talking to your daughter because
during this interview, he discussed, it's a 3-hour interview. Black women remaining in Black culture, sharing Black men. Oh, and the woman is to only have him, unlike him having 2 or multiples. Totally disagree. Cover it in a minute. So, one of the stories that did not involve him that I talked about that was on Reddit, where the husband cheated, thought he could use his bag of tricks to get her back, wasn't able to. She just left, didn't tell him crap. The next time he heard about her, she was married and had a bun in the oven. Do it just like that. Okay. The minute, if you all have a relationship, and it's not a freaky, kinky, open relationship, shared relationship, or swingers relationship, or whatever kind of relationship y'all discussed at the beginning that y'all wanted, because people have different kind of relationships, that's their business. If that was not discussed, you were violated when you were violated when the canoe went up the Nile. And the paddling began to happen. Okay.
If you got low self-esteem, you should only date people with low self-esteem. Because you don't think nobody wants you, and they don't think nobody wants you.
But I mean, it's a self-esteem crisis. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that should not be dating.
but people with low self-esteem are not attracted to people. They're attracted to people with
High self-esteem,
That's exactly what they're attracted to.
which means they end up getting exploited, abused, betrayed, and dogged out. And those are the 4 main traumas of post-traumatic relationship disorder. And then you have baby mama trauma, baby mama trauma, baby daddy. If you got low self-esteem, you should only date people with low self-esteem. Because you don't think nobody wants you.
Sound like Cardi B. Let's keep going. Well, she's filing for divorce now, so okay.
Black family, child support in custody court is playing a big role in this. And you got women, ladies, y'all have to stop using family court as a weapon to destroy a man because he don't want you. And black men, we gotta practice more sexual discipline. We have to practice more sexual discipline. We giving women babies who we don't want, which is causing nothing but pain and hurt, and she carries that baggage with her into the next relationship. So now you spoiling the next man's life because you didn't treat his woman right when you had her.
Agreed.
You gotta do that.
Except
And
for
that's
one
a
thing.
fact. Let's close out with these last few super chats. If you didn't get your super chats in, you're about to miss out on this opportunity to kick it here with Dr. Umar Johnson that's currently in the studio.
And the ladies, I know y'all have to project this idea of sexual discipline but we'll never. Black family, child support in custody court is playing a big role in it.
It's not destroying it. If you don't take them to court, some of these ain't gonna pay. That's why the government, daddy government, steps in. Don't be having children you know you don't want. It doesn't destroy it. The minute you put that seed in, knowing you didn't want to take care of it, and she had to take your ass to court when she shouldn't have, and you should have just been honest and been paying when you whatever arrangement. Okay. And I don't have to project shit in regards to my sexuality. Let's keep going.
Now, energy will never get these problems solved, y'all. Be honest about how you feel. Half of all married people cheat, especially the ones who go to church. So cut it out.
He said half.
They ain't safe for the church.
Half
Yeah, bring on.
are having experiences you don't even know about. Your partner.
Tanya been in that way.
Yeah.
All right, well, look.
He said 50%. Okay. I'm gonna rewind it.
Now, energy will never get these problems solved, y'all. Be honest about how you feel. Half of all married people cheat, especially the ones who go to church. So cut it out. They ain't safe for the church. Yes.
Yeah, bring on one more. Let's finish out with Tanya.
Go ahead.
Tanya, she been that way.
Tanya been in that way.
50%.
Other cultures, but Black men are easily to move on once the relationship is over and start relationships with new women and not put the effort into the relationship with their children currently.
Yes, ma'am. Great question. And I'm going to give you 3 reasons why. One of them we hit on earlier. Relationships function.
Tanya got 4 girls. 29, 27. You know what? Let me rephrase that. Tanya had 4 girls. 4 girls are now 4 women. Those 4 women's ages are 29, 27, 22, and 20. I bet she raised them in the church. At their age, we're talking about quality time being spent and family activities, and she didn't get any child support. She didn't take them, I should say, to child support for her 4 girls.
As a drug in the Black community, we use them to distract us from our personal problems that we do not want to face and address. That's number 1. Number 2, a lot of Black men are constantly looking for a mommy who will care for them. Maybe not financially, but emotionally, and not hold them accountable for the things they do wrong. If I had to guess, I would say the reason he moved on so quickly is he suffers from that.
In other cultures, but Black men are easily to move on once
The average age now that
For average age for
marriage.
Oh, it's getting older for all Americans,
And see that?
but especially us. Everybody marrying later, even white folks. Wow.
Yeah.
Everybody marrying later.
But I don't know. But is that healthy?
For me, it would be. I'm gonna tell you why. A 45-year-old woman, hypothetically, a 45-year-old woman that's been through the bullshit, She done already had her coochie scratched every which way it can be. She done already raised their kids. And at this point in her life, she knows exactly what she wants. You feel me? The problem with getting married older is her biological clock might have expired. It can work for men, it can't work for women. We can have babies until we old. Women cannot. So does it work for us? Yes. Does it work for the community? No, because our sisters need to be having babies soon.
The average age now that for marriage.
Oh, it's getting older for all Americans,
Yes,
but especially us. Everybody marrying later, even white folks. Wow.
yeah.
Okay. Those were all the clips. Do y'all remember the young gentleman who had the military black couple, military mom and the military dad? Let me see here. His son opened for Dr. Umar Johnson. Let me see. I'll look it up later, but I remember that 8-year-old speaking all across the country. And both the mom and the dad were part of the military. And I asked questions, still ain't got no answers yet, about what, because he should have been very proud of his son. His son was pretty much a genius. What clicked in his head? And it seems like he would have had a lovely life. I think him and the wife were going through a few things. Nothing that couldn't be worked out. And I just was like, what clicked for someone of that stature and caliber to make him slay both the wife and the 8-year-old son? Okay, let me see here. Ah, here it is. This is what I'm looking for. I took notes from that entire interview along with my thoughts. Let's go through them. No to single motherhood. No to one or several baby daddies. No to dating nutcases that think they are kangs. I'm gonna call this the no list. No baby mamas, daddies, maybes, them statistics looking a hot damn mess. No trauma bonding. Nope, I'm good. No sharing and compromising my personal space, because he said people should live in the same. You know, if you're going to marry her in the first 6 months, you should live together with each other for the first 2 years. No sharing and compromising my personal space. Well, he can live inside the house like Oprah instead and set up a desire. Should I decide to have a paid permanent 304? I'm not sure about that yet. No impersonators interviews, no being a girlfriend is a scam, no keeping those 2 years to myself since he will not be moving in, no not fighting Ray Ray and Pookie baby mamas when they call throughout the middle of the night, no cock-a-doodle-doo sharing within the community without my knowledge or consent. No, the other party may keep their mood swings and shadows. No children equals stacking bread and several vacations out the country. Pleasure contract versus relationship. Talked about pleasure contracts and relationships in that 3-hour interview plus. I have watched both. Life is too short. I prefer the pleasure contract. I would like to have my cake. He made several references to cake. Have my cake and eat it too. Add some ice cream as well. Thank you very much. I shall bless my honeycomb hideout to whomever I would like to in humanity, in the street, in the States, overseas, and at the house doing Kegels. Okay. Based off of that whole conversation, you might as well, first of all, don't forget that the Africans are the ones who sold us to the Europeans in slavery. So I'm sold by the Africans to the Caucasians, to the Europeans, to the other group, which is really selling to ourselves since we were all Homo sapiens from Africa. But these were lighter skinned due to the people, due to the how they grew up, due to their surroundings, due to their environment. Anyway. And you want me to not sample the goods of other people, but you want to have variety in the household for you to pick from. But most of the ladies make more money. So he's not able to afford one, but you want him to have two. We're just going to throw "if you can afford it" in there. Otherwise, it's a no. And I'm supposed to do this in order to save the Black culture or community. It'll be a cold day and a fake hell. How about a no? That's not going to work. Maybe it'll work for a few. That ain't gonna work for a whole lot of ladies. So, top things that narrow your options in the dating world. Not dating outside your race. Turning down someone because of religion. And turning down someone in regards to things they cannot change, such as their height, facial features, things of that nature, or the things that you all probably can work on together. If you don't like the pants he's wearing and you're on a dating show and you got 3 kids, why don't y'all talk about it over dinner after the first few dates and see if y'all can come to an agreement. But if you 40 with 3 kids and he got none or he got 1, you may not want to be, I don't care how bad your body is, you may not want to turn him down if he's a decent brother that makes some good change. Over height and pants. Make the shit make sense. All right, that's all I got for right now. I wanted to get that out. I don't own the copyright to that. I'm just using it based off of the copyright law. None of it's mine. I am simply responding to it. I don't want to get any type of copyright infringement. Okay? All right. I love y'all, and I will talk with y'all later. Mwah.